The Lake, 1973.
I stand at the end of this long wood dock looking across the lake's emerald calm, set among pine-furred mountain guardians under a sky as blue as her eyes were once. Behind me the hill curves upward softly, rolling rock face softened by shallow soil spotted with scrub among soft wild grasses to where my cabin backs up to the woods. At times in this silence I think of her, pale blue summer dress blowing in the breeze. Here beside the lake smiling and waiting, fading away as early morning mist. Legend says there's no bottom to this lake, where spirits rise with the first morning light, are seen by those who most need to see them, are felt near even when the mist has gone. From my cabin porch, when the light is right, I almost see specters rise through the mist, wavering forms that look almost human. But mostly I sense that Susan is near. Between clear blue sky and emerald lake, these mountains are islands far from the world, where whispering winds may ease troubled minds. Yet still I see Susan in waking dreams.
The Boys, 1964.
As a teen, I set pins and clean washrooms in the Chinook Center's bowling alley, scour grills nights and weekends next door at the sidewalk coffee shop in the mall. Friends plan robberies they never commit. I don't build or explode bombs I design. Mein Kampf and Das Kapital are my texts, all in our afternoon coffee shop clash. At the next table, cats post of luring gay young barbers to bash in back alleys. Ex-soldier brags he watched his colonel rape a private, then blackmailed him for silence. We young poets and painters test the line, never cross over to the other side, our game only to prove we could do it. I take my books back to the library.
Susan, 1969.
Walking down 8th Avenue, I see her. A woman I know from work or somewhere. Hello, Jimmy, as she gets closer to me, and I say hello too and walk on by. I'd remember a woman this beautiful walking into the bookstore where I work, buying a book or browsing the tables, but nothing tells me she was ever there. Now I can't stop thinking of this woman who greets me by my name, then disappears, swallowed up by the busy downtown street, while I walk further along 8th Avenue.
City Life, 1968.
The sun seems to whisper, "Wake up, Jimmy." I roll over to avoid the bright light, glad to be able to sleep until dawn after 6 months in a northern work camp. It's a hard life working in the oil fields, grunt work from before dawn to after dusk, sleep in the bunkhouse with other young men. Worth it when a man can be paid so well. Back home in Calgary with 6 months' pay, I bought my new Mustang with oil field cash. Or next week, a blur of drinking and girls. Got smart and got a job as cash ran out. Once broke, some juggers went back to the rigs, to bunkhouse blues and hard work in the fields. But I've managed to not blow all my wad, keep the Mustang, and a job selling books. I started writing poems during oil field nights, stuck in the bunkhouse with not much to do, odd for a dropout who hated high school. The words just came and I wrote them down. Young poets came to the store and hung out, talked about readings in downtown cafes, asked me to come and read my own poems, my stories of the woods and of oil rigs. In cafes, I read of heaven and hell, forests of pine and forests of derricks, my gateway to a new world of wonders where the poets listen and accept me.
Susan, 1969.
Quiet talk washes over the cafe, hushes as I take my place on stage, begin reading to the usual crowd. Then I remember her as she walks in, I stammer a bit as I read my set, carried away by eyes blue as the sky. Wonder if a reading is where we met. Look up just to see her walk out the door. Like a ghost, the woman is gone again. This woman who knows my name from somewhere. I should remember, though I don't know why. She haunts me even when she is not here.
The Cabin, 1972.
I leave the highway onto the dirt track, into pine woods, then turn in my driveway, park the car where it ends near the cabin, carry my load from that point to the dock. I feel at home in this lakeside cabin, bought in 1969 by oil field savings, to escape the pressures of the city, be forgiven in the peace of the lake. My rowboat breaks the lake's placid surface, draws lines like fish bones along the water to where I stop the boat at the center, do what I must, then sit a while longer. Once back at the dock, I tie up the boat, watch the last of the sunrise over the lake, take a last look across the green water, drive back to town in a reverent mood.
The Chat, 1969.
Like a James Stewart romantic movie, Susan and I meet by chance on the street, collide, and all her parcels go flying. After apologies, we trade names, and talk. Late in the fall, I finally met her. Coffee and chat in a downtown cafe, all the usual getting to know you, Jimmy and Susan together at last. I still don't know where I've met her before, but suppose it doesn't really matter. Susan and I spend our best time together, days and evenings of life in the present. The here and now is good enough for me. The past will wait a time to let it out, set Susan free from what she fears the most, while now she's still a mystery to me.
The Fall, 1971.
She's still magic to me after 4 years. Susan of the soft blue eyes and deep soul, secrets in her past that she can't reveal, won't tell even to her longtime lover. Even now Susan keeps her past to herself, between us a wall I can't get past. At times I see terror too in her eyes, created by things she may see or hear. Susan still resists living together, keeps her apartment close as her secrets, looks over her shoulder far too often. Nothing I could do from behind the wall.
Fear, 1972.
Something happened as the new year began. Terror overcame Susan's state of mind as shadows of her past came to haunt her, where she hid behind a wall of secrets. Fear seemed to build a newer, higher wall, at last to shut me out almost completely. Not able to free Susan from her past, not able to help her in the present. One argument, too many over secrets, too many words said in haste and anger. Susan left my life quiet as she'd come, without fanfare or goodbye. She was gone. It was as though she had never existed. The phone she never answered was cut off, rent never paid to hold her apartment. Her work called the police with concern.
The Favor, 1972.
When Susan had asked me one last favor, I resisted, though Susan's mind was made up to go ahead with or without my help, and I couldn't let her go it alone. Susan and I sat and talked all that night until Susan slept while I held her hand, waiting for the first morning light to come, then took Susan with me to the cabin.
The Lake, 1973.
Standing at the end of the dock at dawn, watching the sky and early light turn blue, my thoughts turned to city night images, the blue of Susan's eyes and her blonde hair. looking out over the lake just at dawn. I see Susan sometimes, or think I do, the lady of the lake there in the mist, rising from the water, then gone again. They say the lake is bottomless. They say a body in the lake will sink, but may float up if you wait long enough. Ghost on the water, then gone forever. Thank you.